Simon Alexander continued to leave his mark as UN delegates approved his plan to create a world union modeled after his 10-zone European power base.
For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
Commander-in-Chief also calling for countries in the Middle East to join the Abraham Accords, normalize relations with Israel. He wrote on Truth Social, most should be ready, willing, and able to make this settlement with Iran a far more historic event than it would otherwise. Cheryl Kasani, your reaction. The president is saying, look, let's use this opportunity as even bigger than just a deal with Iran. Let's use this opportunity to normalize relations with Israel and set the peace for a long-standing occurrence.
And this is something that began in the first term of Donald J. Trump. And here we are back again talking about the possibility that this could be part of the new world order. One of the things that the president said on Truth Social is that this could be for all countries involved, even if Iran someday were a part of it, which he did right. He said this would be a financial and economic and a social boom. That's one thing. The other thing I found interesting this morning is that you've even now got the British that are standing by. The British that were not helpful when all of this began back in February. Now they've got hundreds of sailors reportedly that are standing by for deployment to the Strait of Hormuz. Mine-clearing mission is a possibility here. They're preparing drones, naval support vessels. It seems to me that whether it is the Saudis or it is in our other Arab partners or it's our European partners, they're finally realizing this is the path forward to decapitate the Iranians and to make sure that they do not have power.
So let's hope that people will listen to President Trump. The only time we've had real significant peace in that region was the 4 years that Donald Trump was president. And I'm very optimistic that with his leadership, his bold and innovative thinking, he doesn't think like the other politicians and diplomats have thought. And thank God he doesn't, because we get results. I heard somebody say he's thinking outside the box. That's ridiculous. He's not thinking outside the box. He throws the box away and says, let's start with a blank slate and see where this could go. That's leadership. And that's what we have with President Trump. And I'm personally optimistic that we're going to see something bold. I will use this term, Maria. I think we will see something of biblical proportion happen with his leadership in the Middle East.
Of biblical proportion happen.
Today's resolution represents another significant step towards a stable Gaza that will be able to prosper and an environment that will allow Israel to live in security. The path to prosperity, colleagues, requires security first. President Trump's historic 20-point plan marked the beginning of what will be a strong, stable, and prosperous region, united in rejecting the path of violence, hatred, and terror. Colleagues, and I say this to the world, this resolution today is just the beginning. And under President Trump's bold leadership, the United States will continue to deliver results alongside our many partners. We will seize the opportunity today to end decades of bloodshed and make lasting peace a reality. Time is not on the side of peace. This is not the time for endless debate and lawyering. The clock is ticking like a time bomb. So let us vote for this resolution, not as a compromise, but as a covenant for the children of Gaza and for a peace that endures and for a Middle East reborn.
So the Middle East will be transformed, and the future of that region is never, I don't think it's ever looked brighter. You couldn't have, we did the Abraham Accords. I hope you're going to be getting into the Abraham Accords finally. Yeah, sir, will you please go back and explain? It's time now. Mohammed said, oh, yes, as soon as we do this, as soon as we do that. I said, Mohammed, we did that. Oh, yes, but we have a couple of other things. It's now time. We've now taken them out, and they are out bigly. We got to get into the Abraham Accords. And we hope all of the countries are going to be in the Abraham Accords. We have some very brave countries that did it, years ago. They went in, and you know who they are, the early four, and they did a great thing in doing it, and it was great for them also economically, but it was a great thing that they did it. But I think all the Middle Eastern countries are going to be joining now. And in some cases, I would say all the Middle Eastern countries and beyond. You have people not in the Middle East that want to be members. You'll be seeing that soon.
And of course, the prophecies of economic doom. And yet after all this, Trump is still in the arena, fighting, and poised to deliver 3.5 years of peace and prosperity.
3.5 years of peace.
The peace warrior never stops. He's relentless.
I just care about saving lives. But this will be number 9. But every time I solve one, they said, sir, if you solve one more, you're going to be known as a peacekeeper.
Not even a week after his historic Middle East peace agreement, President Trump was back in the peace business again today.
As I've said before, it's my hope that my greatest legacy, however, will be as a peacemaker and a unifier. I want to bring peace, not war, I think. I want to bring peace, not war, I think. I am the candidate of peace. I am peace. The Bible says, blessed are the peacemakers. You know that, right? Blessed are the peacemakers. I made peace. Remember, Hillary said, he will take us into war. No, I took us out of all these wars. When I was president, the world was stable and calm because America was respected and strong. Now, as we see in Russia and all of these other places, this whole world is on fire. This world is on fire. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine totally settled. I'll have it done in 24 hours. As the Bible says, blessed are the peacemakers. See that? I will be your peacemaker. I was your peacemaker. Oh, that's great. Blessed are the peacemakers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And I'm reminded those words of blessed are the peacemakers. Those are words spoken by Christ in northern Israel over 2,000 years ago. And President Trump has blessed the world with his peacemaking ability.
You're talking about the whole...
President Zelensky tomorrow.
It just seems to me that, look, it's only a field. That's all I've done in my whole life. I've made deals. I know about deals. I do it well. I don't think any president's ever ended a war, frankly. One war, I did 8 of them, Maria, right? And but I don't know, did Bush ever end? Do you think Biden ended a war? Biden started wars because he was stupid. But do you think Biden ended any wars? No. I don't know of anybody that ended wars. I ended 8 of them. Now it's going to be 9. I think we're going to have this one done hopefully soon. If I thought it would help, I'd do it. I'd love to see that war end. I've settled 8 wars and actually 9, and now it looks like we could have 10, but I would love to make that the 10th, I will tell you. I would love to see an end between Russia, Ukraine, that were 25,000 young soldiers were killed last month.
Donald Trump is the candidate of peace and prosperity. I think...
Now, President Trump, as he says all the time, and as a lot of people recognize, is a president of peace.
70,000 monks just broke their vows of silence to nominate Trump for the Nobel.
Dear Mr. President Trump, we are standing here today with hearts full of appreciation. Today, 70,000 Cambodian Buddhist monks are wholeheartedly supportive of our Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet to nominate you for the Nobel Peace Prize. Please accept, Mr. President.
70,000 monks can't be wrong.
Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado has given her Nobel Peace Prize medal to President Trump. That move has been opposed by the Nobel Committee. NPR's Danielle Kurtzleben reports the two met yesterday at the White House.
In a social media post, Trump wrote, quote, "Maria presented me with her Nobel Peace Prize for the work I have done. Such a wonderful gesture of mutual respect." Trump has openly coveted the prize and last week expressed anger that President Obama won it. Machado won the prize for leading opposition to former authoritarian President Nicolas Maduro, whom the Trump administration has deposed. Though Machado has heaped praise upon Trump, he said he didn't think she could rule the country. Maduro's Vice President Delcy Rodriguez is now acting president. The Nobel Committee said in an earlier statement that a prize cannot be revoked, shared, or transferred. Danielle Kurtzleben, NPR News.
I presented the President of the United States the medal of the Nobel Peace Prize, and I told him this. Listen to this. 200 years ago, General Lafayette gave Simón Bolívar a medal with George Washington's face on it. Bolívar since then kept that medal for the rest of his life.
He can pull this off. If he can get Saudi Arabia, the center of Islam for the entire world, to recognize the Jewish state Israel, he will have ended the Arab-Israeli conflict that's been going on for thousands of years. They should change the Nobel Prize to the Trump Prize. If he can do that, and I think he can, it's the biggest change in the history, in the modern history, and in the ancient history of the Mideast, where the Arabs and the Jews live together, where it becomes a center of power economically, not a powder keg. And once you put Iran in a box, and he's going to do that, we're going to have peace between Saudi Arabia and Israel. Nobody thought that was possible. I believe it's possible. And there's one guy can do it, Donald Trump.
I know you're in contact with all of the countries in the Middle East. Are you getting any indication?
My phone's been ringing off the hook.
Sir?
My phone is ringing off the hook. My phone is ringing off the hook because he said I should link the two. He's saying to the Arabs, look what I've done for you. He saved MBS. He's the best friend Israel's ever had. Everybody in the region should rally around the idea of adding Saudi Arabia and other countries to the Abraham Accords. It would change the makeup of the Mideast in a way that nobody could envision just a year ago. It would change the Mideast for the better, the biggest change in thousands of years. To our Arab allies, you need to help President Trump. You need to embrace the fact that it's now time to end the Arab-Israeli conflict, make peace with Israel, build on the Abraham Accords. And if you say no to him, you say no at your own peril. Look what he's done for the Arab world. Look what he's done to your biggest enemy, Iran. Look how he stood by you when other people were going to abandon you. As to our friends in Israel, you have no better friend than Donald Trump. Quite frankly, Donald Trump, you owe it to him. You owe it to your people. You owe it to the world to do what he's asking you to do. Build on the Abraham Accords. I've never been more optimistic than I am right now. My phone's been ringing off the hook. President Trump, stay on this. You're right to want to expand the Abraham Accords. You can do this.
Very, very big. You're expected to get the FIFA Peace Prize, Mr. President. What would you say to people who say that prize might conflict with your pledge to strike Venezuela?
Well, I think the Peace Prize, I settled 8 wars. I don't know that I'm getting it. I haven't been officially noticed. I've been hearing about a Peace Prize, and I'm here to represent our country in a different sense. But I can tell you I did settle 8 wars, and we have a 9th coming, which nobody's ever done before. But I want to really save lives. I don't need prizes. I need to save lives, and we're saving a lot of lives. I've saved millions and millions of lives, and that's really what I want to do. And I also want to run a great country. And the United States right now is the hottest country anywhere in the world. And 1 year ago it was dead. We had a dead country, and now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
Mr. President,
Mr. President, this is your prize. This is your Peace Prize. There is also a beautiful medal for you that you can wear everywhere you want to go.
Right now.
Okay, let me hold. Fantastic. Excellent. And you will receive also, of course, a certificate which reads out, and I would read it out with your permission, what are the reasons for you receiving this FIFA Peace Prize. Football unites the world. So the FIFA Peace Prize is presented annually on behalf of the billions of football-loving people from around the world to a distinguished individual who exemplifies an unwavering commitment to advancing peace and unity throughout the world through their notable leadership and action. And therefore, FIFA, the Fédération Internationale de Football Association, awards the 2025 FIFA Peace Prize, Football Unites the World, to Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, in recognition of his exceptional and extraordinary actions to promote peace and unity around the world. Friday, December 5th, 2025. This is the certificate. It's yours.
They did and are doing. They gave me their first Peace Prize. They gave me a Peace Prize. I think they saw that I got screwed by Norway, and they said, let's give him a Peace Prize. I mean, very good. Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate it. Johnny's very smart. He's very, very smart.
But you have to understand what Trump is going to do. He's going to end the Arab-Israeli war permanently. Not only that, he's going to bring Saudi Arabia together with Israel. And once Saudi Arabia, which is the main concept of Islam, that's the end of the Arab problem. Because then all the Arab nations will join because they all want to be protected by Trump.
Good afternoon, Michiganders. As the president said, we just had a positive meeting with President Trump. We as Muslims stand with President Trump because he promises peace. He promises peace, not war. We are supporting Donald Trump because he promised to end war in the Middle East and Ukraine. The bloodshed has to stop all over the world, and I think this man can make that happen. I personally believe that God saved his life twice for a reason.
I'm here with Pastor Robert Jeffress here at the White House for the Abraham Accord signing. Pastor, what's the significance of the Abraham Accord? It's very interesting that they chose this name to make peace.
Well, that's right. And look, when you have the Washington Post saying this is a huge accomplishment for Donald Trump, then you know it is really something big. And look, this is only something that Donald Trump could have pulled off. He showed his great loyalty to Israel, which has made evangelicals wary of past peace covenants. He's unconditionally loyal to Israel, but he also recognizes the need for peace and stability in the Middle East. I think this offers it. You know, we as evangelicals know there will be no ultimate peace until the Prince of Peace, Jesus Christ, returns. But we shouldn't be fatalistic. We ought to pray for the peace of Jerusalem, as the Scripture instructs us to do. And I believe the Abraham Accords is a way to fulfill that prayer request.
Great. Thank you so much. All Israel News. It's great to be with you, Pastor.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
And we'd like to have the countries we were talking about, with Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and the others, we'd like to have them immediately join and Steve Witkoff is working on that with Jared and some others, but would like to have them join the Abraham Accords. It'll be historic if they do it. And I think they owe that to us, to be honest. I think, because that really would be a tremendous sign. And I think those countries owe it to us.
Mr. President.
Steve, are you going to get them to sign?
We're definitely pushing it, Mr. President.
I'm not sure we should make the deal if they don't sign. You want to know the truth. If they don't sign to join the Abraham Accords, I don't know that we have countries in there already. UAE, great countries, bold countries, and it's turned out to be so good, so effective, and so we're requesting strongly that they join. It'll be great. It'll be great for Saudi Arabia. It'd be great. To ensure the success of this effort, my plan calls for the creation of a new international oversight body, the Board of Peace, we call it, the Board of Peace, sort of a beautiful name, the Board of Peace, which will be headed, not at my request, believe me, I'm very busy, but we have to make sure this works. The leaders of the Arab world and Israel and everybody involved asked me to do this, so it would be headed by a gentleman known as President Donald J. Trump of the United States. That's what I want, is some extra work to do, but it's so important that I'm willing to do it, and we'll do it right, and we're going to put leaders from other countries on, and leaders that are very distinguished leaders, and we'll have a board, and it'll be quite the board. Working, everybody wants to be on it now. I don't know if that had anything to do. They named me and everybody else wanted to be on it. I guess they figure, well, he's a soft touch. He'll be easy to deal with. Working with the World Bank and others, it will be responsible for recruiting and training a new government that will be made up of Palestinians along with highly qualified experts from all around the world. It's really working out incredibly well. The hostages, as you know, were let go on time, on schedule. The very sad situation of bodies, which was always a sad situation, and they're being sought out, and they're working with many different people, finding some were brought in and some were not, and they're working out to find out where those bodies are. It's hard to believe that you even have to say something like that. It's so sad. It's so sad. But what's not sad is that we have finally, after, I guess they say 3,000 years, I've heard from 3,000 years to 500 years, but whatever it is, it's a lot. But this was the one, this was the granddaddy of them all, and frankly, I thought this was probably going to be the toughest, and maybe in many ways it was, but we had a lot of good talent. This took 3,000 years to get to this point. Can you believe it? And it's going to hold up, too. It's going to hold up. I think we're going to hold it up. I don't hold up the signature page, yeah. Nobody can even believe it, that we're sitting here and getting this all certified out and all done, and everybody's happy about it. Everybody's happy about it, like I've never seen before, actually. I've done other deals, and people don't care as much. Big deals, I think they're big deals, but this is something that's taken off like a rocket ship. And it did from the beginning, and I've heard for years, this is the biggest deal, it'll never happen. For years, long before I ran for office, that this is the Middle East. It's the biggest, most complicated deal, and also it's the place that could lead to tremendous problems like World War III. They always talked about World War III would start in the Middle East, and that's not going to happen. We don't want it to start anywhere, actually, but it's not going to happen. So I just want to thank everybody, and I'll see you in a little while. And in particular, thank you all. Made a big deal today, so we'll smile. The biggest ever, right? You know, there are prophets that say the world will come to an end in the Middle East. You know that, right?
I don't think maybe you get enough credit for what you accomplished and your administration accomplished with the Abraham Accords.
The Abraham Accords, and they did nothing.
Yeah.
Again, Iran was willing to do a deal. I would have had a deal with Iran within 7 days after the election. I actually said, let's delay it till after the election because I was sure we were going to win the election. But things happened. You know, COVID happened.
Of course, there was a lot of things going on.
It was a mess.
But still, I think it's something that a diplomacy out in that region that hasn't existed prior. Is that something I would imagine that would be at the forefront of this next administration?
You know, there are great philosophers that said the world will end in the Middle East. We're not going to let that happen. You've heard that expression.
Yeah.
They said the world will end someday in the Middle East. We're not going to let that happen. Okay?
Well, listen, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. President. I really appreciate it. Guys.
Ready? Thank you. We'll take it with us. Thank you, everybody. room. And I want to let you know that the United States is going to make a contribution of $10 billion to the Board of Peace. Thank you. And we've had great support for that number. And that number is a very small number when you look at that compared to the cost of war. That's 2 weeks of fighting. It's a very small number. It sounds like a lot, but it's a very small number. So we're committed to $10 billion.
There's one more tactic that Trump apparently learned in the 80s and uses to great effect on the campaign trail today. Keep people guessing about any long-term plans.
Trump has said, quite seriously, that he's a good enough bargainer to negotiate a nuclear disarmament treaty with the Russians.
This is not a wealthy country. People think America, wealth.
He's a good enough bargainer to negotiate a nuclear disarmament treaty with the Russians.
Then he moved the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Why? It fulfilled the prophecy of Deuteronomy 28, when God said, I'm going to make you the head and not the tail. The head is the decision maker. For 2,000 years, other nations decided what Israel was going to do. What are we going to do with the Jews? When the Jews got home and they had a nation, now the Jewish people are telling other nations, this is how you're going to relate to us. We are making our own decisions now. We are the head and not the tail. You have seen that develop in your lifetime. Our president has done more to bless the state of Israel than all the presidents combined since 1948.
Many people are so hopeful of the Abraham Accords, that the initiative that I know you've been such a part of, and we're so hopeful that many of the people will come in. But people are confused and wondering today about this new relationship with the Saudis. I think we may be sending them some fighter jets. And what's the atmosphere of the hope of the Abraham Accords and the Gulf states, and what part they might help play?
Before I came, I had a conversation with President Trump in the Oval Office at the White House. And I told him, I said, Mr. President, I think that your presidency could have impact on the Middle East, and I used the term, of biblical proportion. Of biblical proportion. And I really believe that.
I want to just say that President Trump has helped change the world by changing swords into plowshares. But let's be clear. There can't be plowshares unless there are swords. Swords is what creates the peace that makes it possible for there to be the farms and the gardens and the ranches that produce the fruits and the vegetables and the beef that make it possible for us to live and prosper. Our nation has been a partner with Israel over these past many weeks, in fact, for many years. But I've never seen a partnership like it, and it has been an extraordinary opportunity for our country to stand with Israel and to be able to stand against a menace that has plagued the world for 47 years. Mr. Prime Minister, thank you for the extraordinary courage, leadership, and direction, and for the manner in which you have helped bring a level of direction to the world. Let's hope and let's pray that the swords can soon be put aside for the plowshares. But if there are those who are unwilling to put down the swords, it's good to know we have a partner that understands that the plowshares have to be preceded sometimes by the swords. Blessed are the peacemakers, not the peace lovers, but the peacemakers.
でも私は、世界の、繁栄とそして、平和に、貢献できる、世界中に、平和と繁栄をもたらせるのはドナルドだけだと思っています。
But even against that backdrop, I firmly believe that it is only you, Donald, who can achieve peace across the world.
You have truly proved to be a man of peace. And let me say, Mr. President, you are truly savior of South Asia.
I'm sure that if President Trump was the president today, there would not be any war in the Ukraine or in Europe. Mr. President, come back, make America great again, bring us peace again.
I was saved by God to make America great again. I believe that.
You believe God's hand was in this that day?
I believe so, yeah, I do.
And you talk about the country, you believe you have more to do. You weren't done. You were spared for a reason.
Well, God believes that, I guess. And if I win that, that would really serve to say that there's some incredible power up there that wanted me to be involved in saving, and maybe it's more than saving the nation, maybe it's saving the world. You know, I get along with all those tough guys.
Thank you, President Trump. You've spoken very passionately about how God saved your life, and I'm wondering, have you put much thought into why God saved your life, as in, for what purpose has he been shielding and protecting you?
So, yeah, God has something to do with it. It's a miracle, and God had something to do with it, and maybe it's we want to save the world. This world is going down. This world is going down. So it could be, but I believe that.
The first time I had two things to do: run the country and survive. I had all these crooked guys, you know? And the second time I run the country and the world, because, you know, it's the world I'm trying to save.
That is President Trump describing the difference between his first and second term when he answered a call from an unknown number to his personal cell phone.
That man is the one who will save not just our country, but will save the entire world.
And I'm proud to be the first president in decades who started no new wars. That's very good. No new wars. Instead, I brought our troops back home. No new wars.
As Donald Trump campaigned for his second term, a promise.
No new wars. They said his personality will create wars. I said, no, my personality is going to keep us out of wars. Look at him, listen to him. He's going to start a war. Listen to his rhetoric. They thought I was going to start a war. Let me tell you something. I'm going to stop World War III.
And at his inauguration, he vowed to keep his promise.
We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier.
Inside the White House, he formed a team of loyalists. They'd help chart a different direction than the one he'd promised.
The Department of Defense is now the Department of War. President Trump just signed an executive order to rename it just a few hours ago. You can already see crews taking down and replacing that old signage. President Trump called the Department of War, quote, a more appropriate name. The president's order also changes Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's title. He is now the Secretary of War.
Welcome back, everyone. Tonight, there are demands by congressional Democrats for an independent probe into a heartbreaking deadly strike on an Iranian girls' elementary school on the first day of the war. President Trump has suggested the U.S. may not be responsible, while Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth says the Pentagon is still investigating exactly what happened.
Did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
In my opinion, based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Is that true, Mr. Hegseth? It was Iran who did that?
We're certainly investigating.
Still investigating. But the only side that targets civilians is Iran.
Please, go ahead.
There's footage that shows that an American missile strike and a Tomahawk missile likely destroyed that Iranian girls' school. So will the U.S. accept any responsibility?
Well, I
for
haven't
that strike?
seen it, and I will say that the Tomahawk, which is one of the most powerful weapons around, is used by, is sold and used by other countries, you know that. And whether it's Iran, who also has some Tomahawks, I wish they had more, but whether it's Iran or somebody else, the fact that a Tomahawk is very generic, it's sold to other countries, but that's being investigated right now.
Admiral Cooper of CENTCOM was asked yesterday about the strike on the girls' school on the first day of the war.
Oh, it's under investigation. You're talking about the original.
It was the only case of investigation at the moment into civilian casualties.
I think we have a couple of things under investigation, but that is under investigation.
Are you able to confirm yet that it was a U.S. missile?
Who are you with?
BBC for the radio.
Fake BBC. You mean the ones that put AI in my mouth? The ones that gave me, had me saying a statement that they now admit was not true? That the ones that put terrible words in my mouth and then had to admit that it was fake? The ones that are being sued now for $5 billion that don't know what to do? You with BBC? They're another fake outfit, yeah.
About the deals in China?
And the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, Central Casting, he loves war. I don't like it. He's a good man.
He loves war.